Hi guys, Captain TigerLily here. We are back with the second episode of Crocheting My Dinos. And we're actually going to go over and get our buddy that we're going to crochet today. So come on, Lucky, let's go get our friendo. Our buddy we are crocheting today is Freckles. I love her so much. Come on, Freckles. Oh, she's so pretty. I'm excited. I am gonna say I have a feeling that these color spots on her are gonna be very difficult. I'm gonna try my best, but I make no promises other than the nose and the belly. Like, those are gonna be the only parts of her that I know I'm gonna be able to do very well. So I'm going to, excuse me, can we? Alright, I'm also going to go water my stuff, and I'm going to go hang out with Freckles today, and I'm going to go hop over to Crochet Me, so you guys can see what's going on. Alright guys, today we are going to be making Freckles. So I've got my colors ready. I've got, our first color is going to be, whoops, I'm moving my background, my bad. We're going to be using this pixie dust yarn in the color Fairy Pink, which, if it'll focus, I don't know. Right there, you can see it says Fairy Pink, but it doesn't want to focus, so I'm gonna do it myself. There. Now you can read it. I don't know why it does that, but it's fine. Then we're also gonna use Fuchsia, which I absolutely love this color. It's not super bright pink, but it's like got just enough of that like darker, almost like magenta color to it that it works out so nicely. And I know the color is not quite the same underneath this lighting as it would be in my normal videos, but it's fine. You kind of get the picture. We're going to be using this for the main body color, and we're going to be using this for all of the accent colors. And I did go ahead before I started recording and I made a bunch of the pieces beforehand, but before we get into all of that, I'm using my trusty 3.75mm hook, which is very hard to find with the end like this. I don't know why, but it is. They don't make them very much like this anymore, and before anybody suggests a Susan Bates hook, I hate them. I can't stand them. I also have two different size tapestry needles this time. This one's actually a cross-stitch needle that I've had for ages. As you can see, the end has been bent now because I've been using it for stitching plushies. And then this is my regular tapestry needle that I use for pretty much everything, which is also getting bent now. I think it's just from like the heat of my hand working with stuff, but that's fine. So before we get into all of the stitching, I did go ahead and I made the tail here, which you are gonna stitch on at the end after I get all the pieces done. I also have the belly color, which this originally just had you doing a belly circle, but with the way that Freckles is with the accent color underneath, I wanted to do a bit longer, so this is gonna go towards like the base of the belly, and this will go up towards the head and the neck. Then I made, I made the front legs, which have these three little toe beans, which, yes, for Freckles in game, these are white. I understand that. However, I tried them initially with white and I hated how they looked. So we're going with a little bit of creative liberties on this one, and Freckles' toes are going to be pink. It's fine. They still look super cute, and I think these are going to look adorable once we get them on. And these, when I get to this spot, I'm actually going to show you how I stitch them in, because the pattern originally has you sewing them in, and these I'm actually going to crochet them in. I think it's a little more secure when you do it that way, and I think it's going to be a lot better of a look for this one than it will be to just stitch them in. However, with the feet, on the other hand, that's a little bit of a different story. Now, the original pattern only called for the feet to be about that long. I didn't like that. I held them out to what I had as an approximation for a body on another plushie that I'm working with, and I hated how it looked. I really did. And so what I'm gonna do is, say if we've got Freckles laying out in front of us, so like here's the head, here's the body, what I'm gonna do on the body is have them out like this, like she's a sitting teddy bear. And I think that's gonna look super cute. Bless you, kitty. Oh my. She's got really bad allergies right now. I'm not sure why, but she's been sneezing a lot lately, and so I've been dealing with that. Poor baby. I also made her horns, which those are gonna go on after I get the head and the body done. So that's that. And then I've got the nose right there, the nose horn. Now, the other thing that I'm gonna have to do with you guys is that I'm gonna have to make the frill and do all the little spikies. And it's gonna be a little bit different than what it looks like on the pattern, because I'm not going to do the individual little spikes like it shows on Freckles' picture. It's going to be all one white thing over the frill, but I'm going to do like a ripple with it so that it still has the ridged points like her frill does. The other thing that I made, because these are going to be bigger and they would be a little harder to stitch on afterwards, is going to be these little pieces to go under the tail and wrap around the tail. Now, I'm not entirely sure how this is going to work, because these ones are bigger than all the rest of them. But if it doesn't work out the way that I want it to, I'm going to use 3 of these on the face frill, like it shows in Freckles' picture. And then I will scrap these 2 because I won't need them. And I'll just stitch the one on the end. I'm going to roll those up so that they don't go over. What is that? I've got fuzzies from other projects. Get out of here. Alrighty, so I think that's all of the pieces that I made in advance. And if you'll notice, unlike last time, I did not show the eyes that I'm using, because I haven't decided what size I want to do yet. The pattern itself calls for a different size, but that's also because it's having me use like a size 6 yarn. And I think this is a size 4. So it's going to be very different. Like, the original pattern calls for a size 6, so it would have me use a 12 millimeter safety eyes, which technically could work. However, I'm not entirely sure how that's going to look. Besides, in order to get a good look for Freckles, I wouldn't really want a colored eye, which I technically could do. I have this bag of safety eyes, and some of these are clear, like they don't have a color on them. Or what I could do is, what I've been doing with some of the clear ones is I take nail polish, because I don't want to use, like, I don't really have a lot of paint or anything, so I'll take nail polish on the clear ones, and I'll show you. Hold on. If I can get the bag open. Let me find a clear one here. Is what I'll do is take nail polish on this part here on the inside and let that dry to whatever color. I did that with a dragon I made a little bit ago, where I needed purple eyes and I didn't have any, so I got some of I have this really pretty lavender nail polish, and I painted the inside of the eyes with that, and it turned out gorgeous. So I may do that if we really need to, and I'll leave the head unstuffed and do that off screen if that's the case. But oops, we're losing my background paper. And the reason I put this down is because I realized that with this being pink, it wasn't going to show up pink with the black table underneath. It was going to look white. So I wanted this to actually look somewhat pink. So I'm going to get my hook. We're going to get started. And I also have my little lid full of stitch markers. I'm going to set those to the side for when I need them. And we're going to get started on this. I will say before we get started, I am not using my own pattern. I am using the Tia Triceratops pattern from Double Dutch Crochet Co. I will leave that linked down in the description if you guys want to make this one for yourselves. However, I am adding some alterations that are not like the pattern, so those parts are going to be my own things. Now, in order to get Freckles to look the way that I want her to, I'm actually going to start with the darker pink first. And the reason for that is because her nose is pink, and I don't have a separate, you guys know I do my tight tension with slippery yarn like this, but you guys know that I don't like to stitch at this point. If you've watched the first one, I don't like sewing. I never have. I probably never will. So my compromise to the sewing is to do as much all in one piece or crocheted in as possible. So we're going to start this one, and I'm going to start my magic ring like I did before, which for me is 2 chains. Right into the middle. And I'm going to make, that's 2. And because this is harder to see in, I'm going to use a stitch marker I can actually see, which is going to be green, apparently. I was searching for blue and I got a green. Crap. I got to take out my stitch because I can't see where the first one is. There we go. Okay, so I got 1 stitch in there. And I'm going to do the nose part up until I get to the color change, which is going to be after probably round 4 or 5, to where it starts to increase again, because I only want the nose to be this pink. So I will see you guys then when I do the color change. Okay, so I've made it to the end of row 5, and I think that's all the more that I really want to do for the nose, because it's going to have me do 2 more rows of just this straight, and then it's going to increase so that I can make the bulk of the head. So I think I'm going to leave this part here. So we're going to switch colors and maybe not lose a... I always forget that these scissors are slightly magnetic, so my needles stick to them. But we're going to trim that right there. And that's all of the pixie dust fuchsia that I need for making the bulk part of the body. The rest is all going to be in fairy pink. So I'm going to set that to the side, and we're going to get out this pink one, which I'm going to unspool some yarn here for myself because we're going to need a lot. So set that down there. I got a bunch here ready to go. And if you guys haven't seen how I do color changes before, I will show you really quick while I get this next row started. So I'm going to make sure that I got about the same length of yarn afterwards, because I like to tie them together just to make sure they're extra secure. But I'm going to pull that through there, and then I'm going to stitch 1, 2, and 3 in the new color before I pull those behind. So regardless of this being the starting stitch, I always try to mark the stitch just in case, because sometimes I'm not paying attention very well and I will mess up because ADHD brain. It's lovely. So I'm going to stitch until about when I would place the eyes, and from there, once I get to the point of where, because essentially it has me stitched to row 15 until I'm adding the eyes and then start stuffing. So I'm gonna stitch all the way up to row 15. We're in row 5 now, or row 6 now, and once I get there, I will decide on what size eyes I want to do. I may actually use a little bit bigger eyes than 12mm. I'm not sure. Like, it has it, I don't know what it is about the way this pattern looks, like 12mm eyes does not seem big enough for this dinosaur. I don't know. Maybe it's just me wanting really cutesy eyes, but it does not seem big enough for this size dinosaur, but we'll figure that out when we get there. I've got some 12mm eyes that I showed you, which are really cute. I've got a couple of 14mm eyes left over, and I think I have 18mm eyes as the next biggest size up. I don't think we'll need 18mm, but we'll see when we get there. Those are really big, so probably not for this one, but next thing before I get started on that, I'm gonna tie this off, and then I'm gonna stitch up to row 15. So, and I will just do a regular square knot. I'm good, and then I will stitch these to the same lengths, and then they will get tucked in when I do the stuffing. So tuck that down there for now, we'll be good to go. So I will see you at row 15. Hi guys, a quick break from the crocheting, and I wanted to show you a couple of really cute dinosaurs that popped up while I was playing. First of all, this adorable little spotted purple boy, so cute. There's also this one over here with the little blue frill, adorable. But the Parasaurolophus actually show up over here now, and this little guy is just hanging out over here. This heckin' Utah raptor. Love the blue coloring. So pretty. But these guys show up over here. And I actually really love this little brown one. Like, he looks like Cinnamon Toast. And I love him. I wanted to show you guys that. And also this buddy over here. Just kind of hanging out. Doing his little crocodile thing. But yeah. Just a little break in between the crocheting. And we're going to go over here and see Freckles' buddies. I will say I almost did get one of the green ones as opposed to the pink one. And look, this one's almost exactly like you, Freckles. Only difference is no flowers. Oh, so pretty. Guys, I just love dinosaurs. Okay? I just love dinosaurs. Okay, back to the crocheting. Alright, so that is the end of row 15. Now, my question is, how are we going to get this little dino's face to look the way that I want it to look? And maybe 12mm eyes will be the right size. I'm not sure. If that is the case, I think I'm going to go with, if I do 12mm eyes, I can do yellow, green, blue. There's brown ones. The brown actually might look really cute with this. Hold on. I'm going to get brown ones out because I think that might look really cute. I don't know, but I think it might. If I can get the bag back open. Why did I close it? Horrible mistakes were made. There's 1 and 2. And I have a feeling I'm not going to have a lot of things that I want to use the brown ones for anyway, so... let me check in the pattern and see how far apart it says to leave the eyes, because I don't actually know. It doesn't. Okay, well, that's fine. So if I want to do it, let's see. 2, 3, 4. Okay, so it looks like it's... Oh, okay. Place eyes on row 9 to 10 of the head with about 5 to 6 stitches between both eyes. Okay, so what we're going to do is this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. So that's about the middle, and I usually mark with the hook, and then for each one I'm gonna count. So 1, 2, and then the third stitch will be the one that I place the eye in, so that's that. And then 1, 2, 3. Actually, I think those are too small. Those are not going to look the way that I want it to. So we're going to scale up to 14 millimeter, which I don't have very many of those left. So let me dig those out and we'll see what colors I have left for 14 millimeter. That's just solid black eyes. That's not what I want. Yeah, those bigger ones are 18 millimeter eyes, so those aren't gonna work. Where did they go? I had them. There they are. Okay, so I have a pink that I could use for this, which I think would look really cute. Hopefully this will work. So I could use that pink, this like pinkish purple, and it's really cute because it's got the metallic glitter. Or I could go with silver. I think these 14 millimeter eyes will be a little bit better. I want them to look big and chibi-esque, I suppose, is kind of what I'm going for. So my question is, do I do pink or do I do silver? Actually, I really like the silver better. I think I'm gonna do the silver eyes, not the novel. If you know, you know. So, I think this will be the right size for me. So I gotta take the little dots out of the center. Let's get rid of those, don't need that. Put that there. Now, some of them will come with the color circles like this, and some of them won't. Most of the time, I like the color circles better, just because if I don't want a color, then I don't have to put the circle on. But I will say, sometimes the color circles are not cut correctly, so they won't fit nicely onto here. Like this one even looks a little lopsided, which you won't be able to tell once you get it in, but until then. All right, let's count it again. 1, 2, and 3. If I could get this to poke through the yarn. Oh yeah, that's much better. Turn that so that the little ridgy bit's in the back. And then we're gonna pop the back on, which these are way easier to do. The big ones and the really tiny ones are always the ones that I have issues with. And then I'm gonna go from here. 1, 2, and 3. Oh yeah, I like that a lot better. That's super cute. And hopefully this will look as nice as I think it's going to once I get the whole everything done. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna finish making the face, and I'm going to stitch the head shut, because from here I'm gonna start stuffing the nose and all the way out until I'm done. And then once I get done, I will show you how I'm gonna start doing the frill. So let's get working on the rest of this head. I suppose I need to get my polyfill out, which I have plenty of. I'm gonna take a little clump for now and just start stuffing the nose so that way it'll hold its shape. And I am gonna try to make its face, I'm gonna try to make the face a little chubbier than it looks right now by really filling it out, because I really want it to look like really big, chunky, like Freckles is in the game. So we shall see how this goes. And I didn't mention it before, but I am actually going to stitch the little spots on the back like she has in the game, which I'm going to use just the leftover string that I have from stitching on like the flower petals, and if I have to add more, then I will. So we shall see how that goes, but I shall see you at the end of making the base part of the head. Hi guys, another break from the crocheting because look at these babies. Look at this like little aquamarine buddy over here that's like Jewel. Oh my god. Oh, did I say Ceratosaurus? I meant to say Brachiosaurus. My bad. But they're so cute. I love them. I'm actually really excited for when we do get to the point of making Jewel. Oh, you're fun. Hello, little Allosaurus. Hello. But yeah, I'm very excited to make Jewel. It's gonna be a little bit before I can make Jewel. I have to get the right blue. I ran out because I was working on other projects. And I'm very sad. I barely have enough to make Jewel's head. But it's fine. I'm gonna get more, and then we're gonna make Jewel, and it's gonna be fine. Okay. I'm gonna go up here and back to the crocheting for you. Alright, we have made it to the end of the head. Now, I am gonna get a little more stuffing in there because I don't like that this is very flat. But it's gonna take some finagling to get it to go in the tiny little spot that's left over to stuff with in the back of the head. But it's okay. I can make it work. I got sharp nails. I can make it work. Yeah, almost got it. I think I'll do maybe 1 or 2 more little spots in there. See if that'll be enough to get it to the level of firmness that I like. And the reason that I do that, especially with like the heads and the bodies of most plushies, is because I want there to be enough give for like if a kid is playing with it and it gets like actually squished, I want it to be able to still retain its shape well. Now, I do know there are a lot of people that make like the snugglers where the only things that are stuffed are the heads and the limbs and the body's just limp. And I understand that people like those. I can't stand them. I don't know why. I have no reason to dislike them. But I don't like them. I don't want them around. And if that's your thing, more power to you. I will not be making them. Unless I have a specific, really, really good reason to make one, I probably will never make one. Alright, so let's get my needle out here. And let's stitch this closed. Okay, that is all stitched shut, and that looks pretty good. I like how that looks for Freckles. I think that's going to be really, really good. So I'm going to weave in this end, and we're going to start doing the frill next. So from there, that's going to be really interesting. And I also need to shape the face a little bit, but I'm going to do the details later, so... I'm gonna do all of the face shaping, I think, probably with this yarn, just because I think it's gonna be the easiest to hide it, so I'll do that and be back in a second. Okay, having done the face shaping, I can't really tell that it's done too much, but maybe it'll make a difference once we get everything done. But we're gonna move on to making the frill, and for this, I am obviously still gonna be using the Pixie Dust Fairy Pink from Premier Yarns, but I am also gonna be using, I have a bunch of these. I always take the outsides off of these because I don't like pulling from the center with the velvet, but this is Bernat Velvet in white. So I'm gonna be using this to do the spikes on the top, but I'm gonna put that to the side till we get to that point, because I think it's gonna take us a minute. Now, we wanna start at row 14. So this is where things get a little complicated. So this row across the center was the mark between 9 and 10. So from there it's 11, 12, 13, 14. So in order to do that, I have to mark where row 14 is. there. And this is going to be really weird because it's having a stitch all the way around the top of it. In order to do this. So it's having us start all the way from the bottom here and just make a huge spiral out of it. But that's not exactly how Freckles looks. Freckles would start down here by the jaw, but it won't be all the way around in a big bulk thing. So this might be a little bit different for me for how I want to do this. I think what I'm going to do instead is instead of doing like a continuous thing, I'm going to have to go back and forth with it. So I'm going to essentially start wherever the jaw would be. So I want to mark those spots. There we go. 2 blue right there. I'm going to do, this is going to be the center. So the jaw is going to start about here for these guys. So that's going to be there. Is that the correct row? It is. I'm going to do the same thing for the other side. There. And that's going to be there. Now this is going to look different from the back because of me stitching in continuous rounds. So these are not going to look even. It's supposed to look that way. Because if I was doing single rounds and I was stopping at the end of each round and then starting a new round, you wouldn't have like this piece here. It would just be a solid change in the middle. But for amigurumis, I have found that it's so much easier to do a continuous round because then you don't have a seam line. Even though it does make other things more difficult, not having the seam line helps so much. So that should be good. I may have to go down one more stitch on that side, but that should be okay. I hope. I don't know. We're going to figure this out. As long as it's an increment of... If it's like in increments of 5, because that's how the increases go. Is like, for the second row on this one, it says to single crochet 4, increase 1. It should be okay. Or if I have to knock one off and not increase at the end, 6 stitches in the middle should be okay. So I'm stitching into that one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's actually kind of perfect. If I make the last stitch on that row 1 stitch over, that's actually that would work out really well. I think that's what we're gonna go with. So this is where things get a little complicated, because stitching into a row like this is a bit of a challenge. I'm not used to doing that. So it should be okay, but it can be a challenge sometimes. So in order to get the look that I want, and we're going to have to stitch over the tail because I did not leave a long enough tail to weave that in. So I'm going to do that. And I will say, I don't like crocheting onto already finished pieces, but it is what it is. So I should put us at 24, I think. So if I get to this one and it's 24, then I'm doing it right. I hope. 2, 3, I'll see you around the other side. 23, 24. Let's see how this looks. Let's see. Actually, that's pretty close with where that's going to line up. That's pretty good. Okay, we're going to stick with that. So, in order to do the stitches for the next row, this is going to be where this is going to deviate, because it would have me doing rounds for the next 5 rows until I get to the final one, and even that one's done around, but I have to switch colors. So what we're actually going to do is I'm going to chain 1, and we're going to turn and stitch into all of those stitches all the way around again. And that is going to give us an actual frill and not have to worry about this not connecting to the neck the way that I want it to. Just purely because I want this to look more like an actual like fan frill, not the full spiral frill. So let's get working on that, and I will stitch out to the color change. Another interruption from the crochet because, oh my god, look at this guy. I don't even know what coloration that is, but he's so cute. Now, I don't really like crocodiles. I find them terrifying, but oh my god, look how cute. I need to know what coloration that is. Guys, I looked it up. It's called the Moon Glow, and it's a rare. Oh my gosh, it's so pretty. I'm sorry, I needed to show you guys that. Okay, back to crocheting. Goodbye. Okay, so I've made it to the end of row 6 essentially for this, and honestly I think that's pretty good. I really like how this is turning out. Now I am gonna do something with this particular arrangement here that once I get the frill on, I'm gonna see how this looks, but I'm gonna leave this string loose, and the reason being because what I kind of want to do is pull the frill like that on each side, because I didn't want it as long, but I don't know how that's gonna look when I have the rest of it on. Also, this end it sticks out way more than the other ones, so that's gonna be a bit of a problem, but it's fine. Freckles isn't perfect, it's okay. So I'm gonna get my fairy pink out of the way for now, and I'm gonna get out my burnout velvet. And we're going to start working with this to get the right color. Sliding my paper all around. Oh boy. But it's fine. And working with white on white is a problem, but it's fine. It's got enough dimension, it should be okay. But what I'm going to do from here is, instead of doing the double crochet stitches like it wants me to do, and doing single crochets, I'm actually going to do slip stitches all along there and do treble crochets. But because of the amount of stitches that I have, because it should be, I've got 4 points. Hang on, I'm trying to math in my head. Y'all, what's 8 times 6? I don't remember. 48. I knew that. It's fine. Anyway, I'm trying to figure out how many frill points I want to make. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Well, it looks like the way that she's designed, she has 7 along the top and then 2 on each of the cheeks. So what I'm going to do, and this is actually going to help with this little bit of an issue, is where this pulls down to the cheek, I'm going to do this. So there is going to be a little bit of a bump there, but I'm going to make a little stitch at the end, and that's going to be the final stitch edging. So what I'm actually going to do for this one is I'm actually going to, and this is a really dumb decision if this doesn't work, but I'm actually going to cut it right there. And if I do this correctly, I should be able to stitch over the whole thing the way that I want to. Because I don't want her frill to pop up like that. But I don't know. We're gonna see. We're gonna see. We're gonna try this out. Live on camera with all of you. We're gonna see what happens. So for each one, I'm actually gonna be starting with the treble crochet, which is not what you would normally do for this. But we're gonna try this and we're gonna do a thing, I suppose. And these are going to look way, way bigger than they would normally. Actually, what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to stitch it right into the stitch before the frill starts so that it's down like that. I think that might actually work. So what I'm going to do, this is going to be a little bit complicated, is because I'm stitching through the top one like that, I'm going to go here, there's a stitch into that one, 1, 2, and then into that row, and that's going to give us a good little bunch up right there at the bottom. Hopefully this works. I really hope this works. But I'm going to pull 1, 2, 3 like that, and hopefully that should be enough to give us a good starting little stitch right there. Let's see how that looks. Yep, that'll be good. Okay, so now it's gonna be getting these little ends to stitch underneath everything else. But now that I've got that one stitch in there, I should be okay. So we're gonna go 1, 2, 3, and I know this isn't how most people do it, but I never count this first chain bit when I'm doing a treble crochet as the first stitch. So for those of you who don't know how to do a treble crochet, you're going to do 1, 2 around your hook into wherever your first stitch is going to be. So for me, it's actually going to be this first stitch right there. Keep those ends tucked in. This is going to be the challenging part. And then I'm going to do 1, 2, 3, and then I'm going to do the same thing, 1, 2, 3, and I'm debating whether I want to do a regular treble or if I want to do a treble puff stitch. 3 there, and 1 more should be it. Okay. So from there, this is where things get complicated. We're going to stitch down into the next stitch, which usually gets a little covered by your big puffy bobble, whatever stitch you decide to do. So it's actually going to be that right there. And for this first one, I am going to do a single crochet just to get the look down. Let's see. Oh, I kind of love that. The little bobble hanging off the bottom. I kind of love that. That's what we're doing, guys. Okay, so from here is where things get a little more complicated. And the reason I'm making that one with a treble is, you'll see in a minute. I'm going to do the next 2 stitches are slip stitches. And this is going to be complicated because I'm still trying to tuck in that end. And then I'm going to do, I may just have to cut those. 3. And then I think I'm only going to do doubles for the rest. I'm not sure. I'm so particular about what I want for this. I don't know. Whoops. Is that what I want? Yeah, I do. Ah! Almost stitched the wrong stitch. But I will see you at the end of this row, and we will reevaluate what my plan is. So, I'll see you then. Okay, honestly, that is so cute. I love that so much. And the fact that these are gonna look like little cheek puffs right by the side of her neck are gonna be so cute. I love this. I will say the only regret I think I have is not making this longer, just so that I have more room to do the little detail stitches here, and I can still do the little cheek puff here, which I'm not entirely sure if I want to do the cheek puff blush, but I kind of do. I don't know. But I'm gonna add the horns and the details on this later. Now we're gonna go get to the body, because I'm not ready to stitch that in. I'm gonna try to hide it in the body if I can and not stitch it in too much to this, so hopefully that'll be fine. And yeah, I really like how this turned out. I did end up doing 2 extra stitches on the sides that I didn't want to, but I really like how it turned out. I was only gonna do 7 along there, but I kind of like how it looks like this, so it's fine. The only thing that I think I would do differently is probably take out these 2 if I did it again, but things are going to be different for other Triceratops-like ones in the future, so I'm going to set the head to the side, and we're going to get the pink back out and start working on the body. Alright, so I've got my pink ready to go, and there's actually going to be 3 major changes I'm making to the body. 1, the first thing that is going to be different is I'm not going to be making the neck the same way they have it. So in the pattern, it says for you to stitch at row 19 is going to be your 18 stitch row. Now, the reason I'm not going to go further than that particular row is because it's telling me to close off the body and make it one solid piece. I don't like doing that. I am going to stitch the body directly onto the head after I get the body done. However, instead of doing the row 20 that they have me doing, which is a decrease from 18 stitches to 12 stitches, I'm going to add an extra row of 18 stitches to give a little more of a neck for her, and that's going to be my final row. And what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to see where they have me stitch the arms into, and I'm actually going to crochet onto that row directly where I want the arms to go. I will need to stitch the legs on because they're going to be going across rows of stitches, like up and down, instead of along the row of stitches, which is unfortunate, but it is what it is. So I'm going to check real quick and see what row they want me to add the arms onto. Let's see. It looks like about 2 rows down from the neck. So it'll actually be, sorry if you can hear the mouse wheel scrolling. So instead of my first row of 18, the arms are going to be stitched on at my row of 30 stitches. I think that's how I want to do that. Yeah. I'm going to see how it looks when I get one of them on and hold the head on top of the body. And if I don't like how it looks, I'll take out those stitches and I can add it to the row of 24 above that. I may have to do that. I'm not sure, but we're going to get this started. And same with the head. We got to start with a magic ring and 6 single crochets. That tends to be the go-to for most body pieces. So if you can start a magic ring and do your 6 single crochets, you can usually build out to pretty much anything you want. So I got a blue stitch marker for this part, and I'm actually gonna stitch pretty much most of the body before I get to where the arms go. So you guys will see a little bit of me doing that, just randomly throughout stitching the body, and once we get to the arms, I will pop back in and we can decide how well they look. Alright, so that is the end of row 17, and that was originally the row I was going to add the arms on. However, I didn't like how that was turning out, the look, when I started to put the first arm on, so we're actually going to add it onto this row, row 18, and hopefully this should look right. Now, I'm going to add them a little towards the front, just so that it gives her more of almost like a teddy bear-esque kind of look. But let me get the arms back out, that way I've got them on hand for when we add this in. Oh lordy, I'm dropping everything. Just shush, you heard nothing. So this is essentially going to be the front, so we're going to mark that stitch real quick. That's the front. And then from there, I kind of want to count, let's see. That's pink, that's not going to show. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I guess we'll have it, that being the last stitch of the arm, maybe? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Let's see how that looks. Have to be the last stitch of the arms. Actually, I don't hate that. I think that'll turn out good. So let's go ahead. This is also going to be a decrease row, so it's going to be a little bit different than the pattern, just because I don't like decreasing over where I'm stitching things onto a piece, just because it ends up looking really weird if you do it that way. So my decreases are going to have to happen before and after each of the pieces is stitched on. So let us see how this works. Man, in order for this to really work, okay, how many stitches is it across? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 stitches. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so it's going to be a total of 6 decreases down the whole piece. So as long as I make sure I still have 6 decreases, I should be okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yep, okay. I hope this works. And for this last stitch, because I still have this very long tail there, I'm actually going to use the tail as part of that stitch to really secure the string in there, like that. And then that can go off to the side for the rest of it. And I'll make sure I get the stitches right, so there. So it should be 1, 2, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay, should work. 1, 2, 3, and a decrease. Excuse me, stitch marker, I need you to come off of there. You can't hold our little Freckles hostage. It's unacceptable. I won't allow it. Okay. 1, 2, and then 3. Okay, now we're gonna add the other leg. And this one's gonna be a little bit different because we're stitching along this part of it. So, actually gonna stitch over the string first. Like that, and then stitch it back like that. So it's really tight in there. 2. Three, 4, and then last stitch is there, and 5 with a decrease stitch immediately after. Okay. So there's the decrease there. So 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, this should work all the way down, I think. 1, 2. Oh, no, it's not. That's okay. 3 and 4. Okie doke. I think that's the right amount of stitches, but if it's not, I will fix it after. But I think, I don't know how I like that. I kind of want them more forward. I think I want them more forward. So, okay, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna move each of these up 2 stitches towards the front, and I will pop back in after I am all done stitching together our lovely little Freckles. I think she's gonna turn out really, really cute, and I'm excited to show you guys when she's all done. So, back to me in game for a finished Freckles. Alrighty, we are back. I have finished everything that I could for our version of Freckles. She's ready to go. Here she is. How cute is she? I love her. I am very sad though. She has no flower on her tail. I'm really upset about that. She also has no flowers on her feet. The feet ended up just being too small to stitch it onto. I did get the little flower on her frill at the top, so that worked out. But I couldn't get the pieces that I wanted to work for the tail, so unfortunately she doesn't have the pink on her tail, so I'm sad about that. But I did get the little on the back of her actual back, like she has in here. Like, she's got the little spikies on the back, so I did get some of that color on there for her. But I actually really love how she turned out. I almost feel like her head, though, is, like, too small for her body. Like, I feel like her head should have been bigger. I don't know. Maybe it wouldn't have looked so much if I'd made a bigger frill, but things that I'm learning as I go. But I still think she turned out super cute, and I am glad I did the longer legs. That looks so much better to me than if I'd just done short, stubby legs. But, yeah, here she is. How cute is she? I love her so much. I don't really have room to put her up on the shelf next to Lucky, unfortunately. So, she's just gonna hang out with me, but she's so cute. Look at her. I love her. So, I'm actually going to make Bravo next time, who I will show you back here, which I think I showed you guys last time. but I'm gonna make Bravo. This little green boy over here. And I have a feeling those spots on his back are gonna be a little bit of a problem. Just a little bit. But I also need to make sure that I've got, instead of a yellow for the belly, a cream color. But I don't know. I may actually have to do a double layer for Bravo's frill, just because in order to stitch that color on, I'm gonna have to actually go like in and out of the frill, and I don't want it to show through the back. But I will figure that out when I get to it. The only other one that I would do if I start having issues with Bravo is I will be doing Patch. Oh, he's got the Popes. I'll deal with that in a minute. But yeah, he's going to be one of our upcoming ones. So if Bravo doesn't work out for the next one, I'm going to do him next. I have a great crocodile pattern that's going to work for him, and I'm excited for that. So I'm going to leave this episode here, and despite my inability to do the pieces that I wanted to do for Freckles, I still think she turned out super, super cute. So I'm very happy with this. She's so adorable. So I'm going to leave this episode here. And if you guys liked this video, hit the like button down below. Hit the subscribe button if you guys want to see more videos from me. And hit the notification bell. That way you guys know when new videos go live. Share the video around to anybody you think might enjoy watching me crochet through all of my dinos, as many of them as I can. And leave any suggestions for any of the dinosaurs that you've seen throughout the game so far. Which ones you want me to actually try to crochet through next. The only ones I'm going to have issues with are going to be a lot of the bird-like ones. I'm not good with feathers, so I don't know how that's going to work. But it is what it is. So, anyway, first episode, if you guys missed it, where we crocheted through Lucky, is down below here on the screen. And if you guys want to play through the game and you haven't, I will leave the link to Paleo Pines down in the description if you guys want to play this for yourselves. So, that being said, I'm Captain TigerLily, and Freckles and I will see you in the next video. Okay, bye!